We've ridden the whole Royal Enfield range, and it's safe to say that with the Bear 650, they continue to nail retro modern styling as well as pure and simple motorcycling. But will the Bear end the mid-capacity dominance of the Interceptor? The first thing that I really liked was the seat. It is so much more comfortable than the seat on the Interceptor.
It even looks comfortable. It's like the first thing I noticed.
Did you like the seat?
Yeah, seat's fine.
Yeah. Do you remember the seat off the Interceptor? It's like a plank of wood.
It was awful.
This one is actually really comfortable, and I racked up some big Ks. No dramas with the seat, so definitely no need to swap that out.
Yep.
I found the foot peg position pretty good, better than the Interceptor. Mm-hmm. I know you didn't.
I still found it a little bit when I was just trying to move the bike backwards while I'm sitting on it. I found it was right where I was trying to put my legs.
Yeah.
But I think that's just something you get used to on bikes.
It's not for long-legged individuals, but I made it work. But they've got some wizard to make that seat lean you slightly forward, but it appears completely flat. It feels good. You're very slightly
I really like it.
Comfortable. Yeah.
Really like it. Tyres, no tracking at all in those tyres, and I thought they were really good off-road tyres as well.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The clock itself is fine. Actually, no, it's better than fine. I really like the single clock on it. There's plenty of info on it. It's nice and big, so you can see it.
Yeah.
I like what they've done with it. They've got that on a few bikes now, and I think we're going to see that on more Royal Enfields moving forward.
Yeah. They're just continuing to refine all these little bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a big fan of scrambler styling in general. Like, I like scramblers. So this one, I think, looks like a proper scrambler. Love the 2-in-1 exhaust. And I love the fact that they're paying homage to a bit of history, a bit of Royal Enfield history with this, and a race called the Big Bear Run. And there's heaps of videos online about that. It's nice that they paid a bit of homage to their history.
Look, I'd agree with pretty much all of that as well. The engine on it was great.
Good engine.
Exactly what we know and love about the 650 engine.
A little bit
Royal
more
Enfield.
torque out of this one than
You
the.
think so?
Yeah, no, there was. Because of the 2-in-1 exhaust, they've actually managed to get a little bit more torque out of it. Not much.
Styling, I thought, like that big seat, but also just the general look of it. It's got the classic Royal Enfield naked bike look that always does look amazing. Great horn.
I didn't use the horn. Yeah.
I got to test it when someone merged directly, next to me, into me. It's big. It's a big horn for a little bike. And I also I liked the height of it. I don't know.
The height's good.
Yeah.
It was just, for me, it was the perfect height. It was high enough that I was not quite on tippy toes, but I couldn't quite flat foot it either, which is that perfect spot for me.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's not quite the same for you.
So I could flat foot it. You could probably easily flat foot it, obviously.
Yeah.
It is taller than the Interceptor slightly because of the shocks. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the price is great. It's exactly what you would expect from a Royal Enfield and something that is affordable.
Yeah, I like that it's retro modern with the vibrant colours, and I like that orange and blue contrast. It looks good.
I think, this is probably my favourite colour, although I do like the one with the green frame.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the top of the range with that colourway. I think the colours look great. All of the colours look good.
Yeah, the seat looks like an old 60s bathing suit with the blue with the white trimming.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 6 gears, awesome.
Yeah.
Good gearbox.
Yeah, and the ratios are... It's geared like it's a 5-speed, so 4th and 5th are very usable, and then 6 is
Like
not
a bit of
on the highway.
Like a bit of an overdrive.
Yeah. It feels good. You can do 70 in 4th gear without it buzzing, which is something that a lot of manufacturers stuff up. They just do low ratios, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then it just doesn't really click. This felt good. The price is right. It's a justified iteration over the Interceptor as well.
It's not that much more than an Interceptor.
No, it's a justified evolution. So it's not... I was scared that it was going to be just an Interceptor with a couple of bits bolted on. Absolutely not. The other thing I like about it is the front suspension, which is nice and direct. It doesn't track. You can feel the road very comfortably without it feeling, a bit too firm.
For me, that's a massive upgrade over the Interceptor, is the big piston fork.
Yes.
Shower suspension all round. I think it's that, along with the seat, are the two big upgrades for me on this bike.
If you wanted to pick a category where this excels, it's commuting. The wheelbase is right. The height, as Tegan said, is right. The styling is right. It does trips to the shops and trips to work absolutely perfectly. It's the right width. You've got great visibility with the mirrors. You can squeeze through traffic. It just makes sense.
So it's got the same switch blocks as the shotgun and a couple of the other newer Interceptors.
Bright, colourful, tactile, very nice. Considering other switch blocks we've reviewed recently aren't very good.
Yeah, that nice click in
Yeah.
with the indicators, turning them off, you can feel it. I love that.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that I freaking hate about this bike is the off-center clock. Now, I'm a big fan of symmetry. I've mentioned this many, many times. And on other Royal Enfields where they have the tripper and the clock, I can understand why they offset it. But this doesn't have a tripper pod. It's built into the actual dash.
Yeah.
It's a tripper dash. Why is it off-centered? And, okay, if you want to make it off-centered, make it off-centered. This is only slightly off-centered.
That's the worst part.
Seriously does my head in, Royal Enfield. What are you doing?
My housemate, he didn't notice it. And then I pointed it out to him that it's slightly out. And he's like, oh, no, I can't ride that. I would never ride that then. Because as soon as you notice it, it's all you can see.
And
it's just slightly out.
They've offset it because the ignition barrel is there, but just move the ignition barrel.
Yeah.
Like, because I'm pretty sure it's a brand new headstock on this bike. Well, it's not. There's one off the Interceptor. So, you got new forks. I'm assuming it's a new headstock. Mate, just move it off to the side, seriously. The levers, I think they'd be better looking if they were blacked out
Yeah.
to match in with the piano black on the switchgear. But, there are options available, and we actually have for sale some Tech Bike Parts ones for the Interceptor and the other Royal Enfield 650s that will fit this. So one issue I think we all had was on the brake lever.
Yeah.
There's a little sort of guard that stops you from hitting the engine case on the left-hand side of the lever.
Yeah.
Mate, I kept putting my foot down and putting it on top of that guard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
I had the same thing.
Look, not a massive issue. I got used to it.
It's just weird. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
So
No.
maybe they could have done without it.
Yeah. Teagues, did you connect to the tripper?
I did eventually. It
Okay.
took a while because it's the tripper dash, not the tripper pod. I was trying to do what we normally do, and I could not for the life of me connect it. And every time I Googled it, our own explanation would come up, but that was for the pod, not the dash. Anyway, I figured it out eventually. It's fine, but it does also connect to your Bluetooth, so it was directing me that way, which was fine. I know you guys disagree because it was in your likes, but I did not like the color. I'm not a fan of like blue and orange in general. I
Yeah.
don't like those two colors. I don't mind the green colorway.
The green frame one? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that looked nicer. That's just personal taste.
Yeah. And this is the person who rides a fluoro MT-07. So
Damn right.
So you didn't like filtering on it, Teagues?
I think it did feel wider, the bars.
Yep.
So I found that a little bit more difficult. I did still filter on it, but I just found maybe it was that center of gravity as well a little bit, and the wide bars, like it just made it a little bit more difficult than some of like my bike, which is nice and small and narrow, that just found it a little bit easier to...
It's also a little bit heavier than your bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the weight comes into it there as well.
I don't know if you found this, but I found that the bars are at perfect mirror height. Whereas, particularly, I filtered through Newtown in peak hour.
Yeah.
And I used to do that commute every day on my 600 Super Sport, which is very low and very narrow. And I remember thinking, oh man, I wish I was on my 600 Super Sport right now because I'd shoot through that gap. But
Yeah.
you have to just do the thing where you go around mirrors like that.
Yeah.
And I've seen you ride. You literally would shoot through that gap.
Yeah.
Well, you only live once, guys.
So it's not significantly heavier than what I'm used to, but I think the main times that I noticed that weight was when I was picking it up from the side stand.
Yeah.
And I think that's just telling of like that weight distribution of where it sits is like, I guess it's more top heavy than bikes that I've been riding more recently. 'Cause-
Those air-cooled motors are a bit of a lump because
Yeah.
they have all the extra casting for fins and oil lines and galleries and things like that. That's
Yeah.
the downside of having oil cooling.
Yeah, just picking it up from the side. One time I had to have Ross help me because it was already on a slight angle, and me on the bike trying to pull it over, I couldn't do it. And then I almost got stranded in the middle of the country road because Ross left, and then I couldn't get it up again. I got it eventually because I'm a strong, independent lady who don't need no man.
I found with the ABS as well, particularly on the rear, comes in at the right time, but then it just goes, oh, we're locking up, turn the brake, like, you know, stop braking. And then it's very slow to get back on the brakes. So when you're using the rear ABS, it's like, I'm waiting for the rear to come back on. So if you were scrambling and you jump on the rear brake in a dire scenario, you might be a little bit disappointed to come to a stop.
Did you take it on a dirt road?
Only on a dirt driveway.
Okay.
But I admittedly only had it for 2 days because some people just loved it so much they wouldn't give it to me earlier.
So I did take it for a bit of a scramble, and I didn't have that issue with the rear brake at all.
Did you turn the ABS off?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah, well, it makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's what you should do.
Yeah. So, Grin Factor, what did you guys think of the bike? Lucas, you're up first.
I can't help but shake the looming presence of the 450. It's just so good. And when I ride 650 Royal Enfields, they're great, excellent, great commuter, great sound, great colorway, but I know which one I'd rather have. So it gets a 7. It's good, but not great.
Look, I'd say it's also a great bike. Grin factor wise, I don't know if I was grinning ear to ear the whole time I was on it, but it's a great bike. It's comfortable, a perfect commuter bike.
Yeah.
And also I was doing 110 on freeways, took it out on some country roads. It was perfect for all of those.
No buzzing, right? In
No
6,
buzzing.
Yeah.
I found it enjoyable, not grinning ear to ear, but still a great bike. I give it an 8.
So for me, it's a 9. It's just simple. The seat and the suspension are a massive step up from the Interceptor, and I can see a lot of people who are considering an Interceptor buying this one instead. It's the bike that I think we all expected Royal Enfield to produce about 6 years ago. But I'm happy they've waited because their quality has just gone up each time they release a bike. They've just improved that quality a little bit, so I'm glad they've waited.
You're not rubbishing on the Interceptor.
Interceptor's still a great bike.
Yeah.
I've got no, I love the Interceptor. I would happily own an Interceptor.
Yeah.
I've got a Continental GT. It's probably why I don't own an Interceptor, so definitely not rubbishing it. I think this one's a better bike though.
So why would people buy an Interceptor over the Bear?
Probably because it's a little bit shorter seat height. Maybe they don't want off-road tyres.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
okay.
styling's different as well.
Styling's slightly different. In terms of price, there's not that much in it, to be honest. So it's not going to be a price issue, I wouldn't think. But I do think the Bear is a better bike, and I think, is it going to end the Interceptor's dominance? Maybe not. But I think it's going to be a really, really good seller.
It's justified in the lineup, right? If you went to Royal Enfield, you'd probably still test drive the 3 650s now rather than just the 2.
4.
Oh yeah, the Meteor.
Super Meteor.
Oh, and the Shotgun.
Super Meteor shotgun.
There's so many.
It's 5, sorry, yeah. 5.
five.
Yeah,
Wow.
5.
Yeah, you'd probably test drive all of them because they're all justified.
So the Scrambler segment is one that I really like for a couple of reasons. Firstly, the styling, but also because of their duality. And if you're in the market for a Scrambler, then check out this playlist over here.